Hi, it's Lizzie. Thanks for listening in. We're taking a break for the summer. While we do, I'd like to share one of my favourite episodes from the 2025 season. Enjoy! Where do you find God? Almost sounds like a loaded question, doesn't it? I mean, if God was someone you could find, wouldn't everyone be out searching? Well, rather than looking for something elusive, like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I reckon it's more about learning to recognise the way God is already present to us in our everyday lives. I'm Lizzie Oakes, and this is Where Do You Find God? My guest on the podcast today is Tabi Huxford. Now, Tabi is the producer of the Morning Wakeup on Life FM, and Tabi is well versed in early morning wake-ups herself, having previously worked in breakfast TV. Hi, Tabi. Welcome to Where Do You Find God?
Thanks for having me.
You and I don't see a lot of each other, do we? Because we're sort of at opposite ends of the day.
No, it's very sad. There's lots of lovely people here that I don't really get to hang out with as much.
So thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. Actually, you just went on an amazing trip overseas, didn't you? You went to Europe and saw heaps of amazing things. I know you've got family and some friends over there. Tell us about some of the places you went and what you saw.
Yeah, so this was my first time leaving New Zealand, so it was a pretty big deal for me. My second oldest brother, he lived in Chicago. He's recently moved to Houston, Texas, actually, but he was studying his PhD in Chicago, so I decided to use his graduation as a push for me to finally get overseas.
Cool.
And then my other brother lives in London, so I figured I'm going to make a trip of it. And then another one of my friends was going to be in Europe at the same time, so I went to London, I went to a few places in Croatia, a bunch of different places in Italy, and then I went to the States to see my brother in Chicago. Yeah.
So amazing. And actually, I always feel a bit of a stalker, but when people are off doing amazing trips like you did, I'm always watching the Instagram. And then I bet I commented and said something to you. Oh, yeah, been there. Like,
yeah, I had a lot of people doing that. I remember when I lived there, which was really cool, actually. It was like, oh, I didn't realise you used to live in this location, or you've also been here before.
Yeah, so thanks for taking us down memory lane.
No problem.
Hey, Tabi, in Acts chapter 17, verse 27, it says, God intended that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. So my question for you today, Tabi, is where do you find God?
Well, I have been listening to your podcast ever since it started. And I
didn't know that.
Well, I've quite enjoyed it, actually, and I've enjoyed the question. And so when you started it, I did actually ask myself this question and I had no answer. And I was like, goodness me, if Lizzie ever asks me, what am I going to say?
Uh-oh.
But you did end up asking me recently, and I did have something pop into my mind and I didn't quite like it very much. But I think it's worth saying regardless. There's a nice way I could put it and a less nice way I could put it.
I'm always into honest answers around here.
I think I find God in my frustration with other people.
Oh, that is so good. Nobody's answered it like that. You find God in your frustration with other people.
The nicer way to put that is I find God in relationship with other people. But in relationship with other people, you have conflict, you get annoyed, you get hurt, you have different personalities that bump against your own, you realize a bunch of insecurities that you didn't realize that you had that you then need to work on. And in all of those things, you have to come to God and go, help me, please. I need help.
That's so good, because I think for some of us, people do annoy us and we forget the God factor, actually. We just get annoyed.
Yeah. Well, there's so many different ways that you can think about finding God in your frustrations with other people. One, sometimes people find it easy to accept God's love for themselves, and they need to be reminded that God loves the person that they really don't like just as much as he loves you. Or sometimes it's the opposite. You have a lot of love for other people and not much for yourself, depending on what phase of life you're in. Maybe that's what you need to learn. But I also just find that in minor conflicts that I've had with other people or interactions that have brought up insecurities in myself, it has always come at the time where I've been ready to work on that aspect of myself.
Wow, that is mind-blowing. I don't know if all of us connect that. So you're saying that the frustration comes and then you realise that you're actually kind of ripe for dealing with whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's not that...
That's huge self-awareness. How old are you?
I am 24.
Gee.
The reason why I think this way is probably because of my mum. Anytime I had any sort of conflict or friendship issue or anything that I was struggling with as a kid, she'd never let me rant in bitterness for too long. She'd always go, now let's take a step back. Let's, what is this?
Unpack this.
What is this bringing up? Like, what is this?
Is she a counsellor or something?
No, but she was very good at always being there for a chat, even at 11:59 in the evening when she wants to go to sleep.
What a
and
great mum.
You're a teenager and you just need to blabber on
Vent.
about several different things. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, but that's kind of my answer. Yeah,
That's so profound. Well, you did just say that something sort of happens, it comes up, and you recognise that's when you're sort of ready to deal with it.
Yeah, and the more I've become aware of how God has worked in my life in that way, the more I'm able to skip to the good part, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you go through a hard thing in life and it's just terrible and you don't realize how it was in some way good for you until like 5 years later. But the more I have observed how I have reacted to different circumstances that I've been through or all sorts of different conflicts or relationships that I've had, the more I've seen, if I'd never had that situation happen, I never would have learnt this thing. And that has grown me to be this kind of a person. And that's actually an aspect of myself that I now really like. And so I'm trying to get better at reacting in that way a lot faster, or realizing that maybe that's what's happening, or that this has the potential to turn into this one day, and that there can be hope in whatever tough situation I'm going through or whatever negative emotions I might be feeling. Yeah.
It's amazing. You have no idea how amazing that is. That's one of the most amazing things anybody's ever said to me, regardless of being on a podcast. Gee, you're wise. What you're saying to me actually just reminds me of this tagline by Mountain Dew, and that says, to get to easy, you have to go through hard.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you're willing to go there. You see, many people will sidestep hard. They'll hold it at arm's length. They'll go in the other direction. They'll make it all about the other person. They won't take responsibility for their own reactions and responses. Like, Tabi,
Well,
it's
hey,
so mature.
I mean, anything I'm saying is just because I haven't done that in the past. And now I'm like, well, that didn't work out very well. I thought I was putting it to the side, but actually I was just holding all of this hurt and anger and bitterness, and it made my life miserable and it didn't really affect other people. So it's just not helpful, unfortunately. You can pretend that it's that you can push it to the side, but really you're not. You're just holding it on for longer.
It's like a game of whack-a-mole. Do you know that? You hit one of those things down, and then the other one pops up, and you're trying to push it all down. And yeah, being real and honest is where it's at. It's kind of painful, but the fruit of it is, the message of the gospel is from death comes life. So there are those things in our lives that cause us pain. Relationships die, dreams die, but it's not the end of the road. It's like when a forest fire comes and, it's just decimated. But very soon underneath the embers and things, new life comes. Like, it's just mind-blowing. And it is actually how it works in our own lives. But I don't know how many people get it, especially at 24.
I hope more people
I'm still getting it, and I'm just a few decades older than you.
Yeah, I mean, in saying all of this, sometimes I'll share, things that I've realized with a friend, and then a week later it'll be tested, and I'll be like, no,
Yeah.
oh no, I have to. And then I'm reminded of the thing that I said to my friend, this great thing that I've learned, and I'm like, now I have to put it into practice again, and that's annoying, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's so worth it. How do you do that processing with God in those times of frustration? What's sort of the way that you deal with it?
Oh, so many different ways. I really love walking. If I don't have regular walks, I start to get really not fun to be
Angst.
around.
Yeah, I'm like that with exercise. I have to do it. Otherwise, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I do love walking. I love journaling. I love lying on grass looking at the sky. That's a great way. I love walking and just daydreaming, really. I find that I think God speaks to me a lot in my daydreaming that I do on walks, on long walks.
I like
after
that
work.
because a lot of people would think, oh, I'm not doing anything. You know, they want something that's got a shape to it and form. But often it's in those spaces, isn't it, where we create space and ideas come or answers to things sort of drop into our minds and our hearts.
Yeah, I do have to be open to it though. Sometimes if you're holding on to a lot of bitterness, you can spend all of those lovely long walks imagining all of the things that you're angry about. That doesn't help at all.
Yeah, been there.
I do find that what I ruminate on, the pictures that run through my mind have a really big impact on me. So if I keep running through something that I'm annoyed about, if I have that visual thing in my mind, then I'm not a great person for the rest of the day. But if I go, okay, God, what do you think of this situation? Give me a picture. Show me a different way to view this situation, a picture with hope. And I let that play out as I'm daydreaming on a walk. Something special happens. Yeah.
That is such beautiful imagery right there. Tabi Huxford, thank you for joining me today on Where Do You Find God?
Thanks for having me.
Tune in every Wednesday afternoon at 4:30 on Sanctuary, or listen and subscribe via your favourite podcast platform and give us a review so others can find us.